This video is meant for new players trying to learn how to use magic. I will assume you know nothing about magic combat and go over how each ability works briefly, how to use them together, and finally a basic rotation as an example. The fundamentals of all combat styles are the basic abilities. These generate adrenaline, which is the core combat resource you spend to do flashy attacks later. Magic has a basic attack simply called Magic that deals average damage and generates 9% adrenaline. All other basic abilities work off this as a base. Sonic Wave is a basic that makes your next adrenaline spending ability within 9 seconds cost 10% less. Combust lights the enemy on fire, dealing much higher damage but spread over 18 seconds. Dragon Breath deals slightly more damage, increased further if the enemy is combusted, and hits all enemies in a cone in front of you. Impact deals reduced damage but stuns the target, so is best used only when a stun is needed. Chain hits additional enemies near your target and causes your next ability to repeat on the same extra targets. Concentrated Blast is your last unlock but your most common basic, raising the crit chance of your next ability. Sonic Wave, Concentrated Blast, and Chain have greater versions that can be unlocked from their codexes. Greater Sonic Wave is earned from 4 and 3 Undead and increases the damage and the adrenaline cost reduction effect. Greater Chain is dropped from Raksha and increases the number of secondary targets hit, as well as increasing the damage that the repeated ability does to each. And Greater Concentrated Blast is dropped from Kerapak and increases the damage and the critical strike chance effect. Runic Charge is an ability with no cost and no cooldown that takes no time to use, and will augment 3 of your basic abilities further. A charged Dragon Breath will deal increased damage and is useful for farming small creatures. A charged Sonic Wave reduces the next ability's cost even further, and a charged Concentrated Blast grants much more crit chance. Timing when to use this ability and what to use it on is very important for skilled magicians. Now you know the abilities that generate adrenaline, here's what you can spend it on. Your most important ability by far is the buffing ultimate Sunshine. Unlocked at level 76 and by completing the World Wakes quest, it will deal minor damage to your target, but buff all abilities you cast to deal 50% more damage for 30 seconds. During this time, for 25% adrenaline you can use Wild Magic, dealing 2 hits at 140% power each, or Asphyxiate, a 5-second channeled ability that deals damage and also stuns the target. Lastly, you can use Omni Power for 60% adrenaline to deal 1 very large hit, or 4 strong hits at once if you have the Igneous Cape for magic obtained from defeating Zuck. Your other strong ultimate ability is Tsunami. It deals high damage to all enemies in front of you and causes all crits for 30 seconds to generate 8% additional adrenaline. This is only made better when paired with crit chance buffing items or abilities. For outside of your Sunshine buff, you'll mostly want to use basics to generate back up to 100% for when it comes off cooldown. Aside from that, there are a few other abilities to consider. With the dig site completed, you unlock Smoke Tendrils, which costs and grants no adrenaline, instead damaging you whilst channeled, but is guaranteed to crit. Whilst magic is mostly focused around critical strikes, it also has a secondary identity revolving around damage over time abilities. If completing the Mazcab raids or pickpocketing gobies, you can unlock Corruption Blast, a burn that spreads to nearby enemies. Zuck will also rarely drop a codex which unlocks the Magma Tempest ability, raining fire from the sky on a targeted area to deal damage to all enemies in it. As Sunshine does not buff damage over time effects, these abilities are generally not used while Sunshine is active. Instead, if you enjoy the damage over time playstyle, head to the Sanctum of Rebirth for a chance to get the Roar of Awakening and Ode to Deceit. These weapons have a set effect that generates stacks when you use a damage over time ability, giving increased damage and adrenaline and a chance to reset cooldowns. For the most basic magic rotation, you always start with Sunshine, often using Runic Charge and Sonic Wave beforehand to reduce its cost. If you have adrenaline saving effects like the Ring of Vigor or Adrenaline Potions, then you want to build Adrenaline and follow this up with Tsunami. Now your ultimates have been cast, you want to use Concentrated Blast followed by Wild Magic or Asphyxiate as often as possible to deal high damage, and once your Sonic Wave is off cooldown, use it to reduce the cost of Omni Power to deal a large burst. If you're having trouble getting the adrenaline to cast both Tsunami and follow it up with damaging abilities, consider skipping Tsunami until you have more unlocks, or completing Desert Treasure to unlock the Ancient Spellbook and using Incite Fear as your spell of choice. It deals extra area damage and over time will reduce the cost of Tsunami by up to 40%. Whilst this is a basic rotation, there are many ways to change it up based on how many crits you get, how many adrenaline saving or generating effects or items you have, and if you have greater abilities unlocked. So use this as a baseline and experiment further yourself until you become a master wizard. If you're curious about what armor, weapons and important items you can get on your magical journey, check my magic progression guide. Otherwise, if you feel like I've missed anything important or have more advice, please leave a comment below to help out other players.